The depreciation bloodbath. There is a dirty secret in the automotive industry right now. Some new cars don't just gently depreciate, they become absolute financial black holes almost overnight. If you bought one of the vehicles on today's list in 2024 or 2025, you have already lost massive, life-altering chunks of wealth. And the terrifying part? It has absolutely nothing to do with the mileage on the odometer or how well you maintained it. It is because the free market has completely rejected these cars. Nobody wants them. Today, we are pulling the raw market data to expose the 12 sedans with the absolute worst depreciation in America. Dealerships are praying you sign a 72-month loan on these rolling liabilities, and I promise you, the vehicle sitting at the #1 spot is going to absolutely blow your mind. Let's get into the financial disaster zone. Number 12, BMW 740i. Kicking off the list is the ultimate poster child for the phrase, lease it, never buy it. The BMW 7 Series. The market data on this flagship sedan is brutal. If you buy a 740i for $90,000, you are going to lose over 50% of your money in just 36 months. Why? Because the 7 Series is mathematically designed to be returned to the dealer, not owned out of warranty. Now, the 740i actually uses the brilliant B58 inline-6 engine, but the used market doesn't care. It suffers from guilt by association with its bigger brother, the 750i, which uses the catastrophic N63 V8, an engine famous for blowing hot V-turbos, chugging oil, and leaking from the valve stem seals. The used market punishes the entire lineup for the V8's sins. Add in the terrifying tech repair costs, like air suspension struts that cost $1,500 per corner, failing active grille shutters, and the widely mocked beaver tooth split headlight design of the G70 generation, and you have a vehicle that traditional luxury buyers refuse to touch. Number 11. Hyundai Ioniq 6. Number 11 is the Hyundai Ioniq 6, a car that only makes sense on a corporate spreadsheet. On paper, it has an 800-volt charging architecture and 340 miles of range. In the real world, it looks like a computer mouse melting on the pavement. The polarizing streamliner design instantly alienated half the buyer pool. But the real reason this car's value collapsed is Hyundai's own corporate leasing strategy. Hyundai violently exploited a $7,500 commercial tax credit loophole to push these cars out the door for $200 to $300 a month on leases. When the public sees a brand new Ioniq 6 leasing for the price of a cheap cell phone bill, it permanently destroys the vehicle's perceived value. Now, the poor buyers who actually paid cash or financed the full MSRP are trying to trade them in, only to find they are competing against a massive flood of dirt-cheap off-lease units. It loses half its value in 3 years because it looks weird and leases like a Kia Rio. Number 10. Volvo S60. At number 10, we have the Volvo S60, a beautiful, incredibly safe sedan that the American public has completely forgotten about. With just under 51% depreciation, S60 owners are watching half their net worth evaporate in 3 years. Part of this is brand perception. Ever since the Chinese automaker Geely bought Volvo, American buyers have questioned the brand's long-term identity. But the bigger issue is that Volvo officially killed the car, ending U.S. production in mid-2024. However, the real nightmare is under the hood. Volvo's T6 and B6 engines utilize both a turbocharger and a supercharger. That is twin-charged, over-engineered complexity that independent mechanics absolutely despise. You have a rat's nest of vacuum lines, specialized belts, and fragile seals. When that supercharger inevitably fails out of warranty, the repair bill will make you regret every life decision that brought you to a Volvo dealership. Number 9. Audi RS e-tron GT. Number 9 is the most gorgeous vehicle you should never, ever buy new. The Audi RS e-tron GT. Mechanically, this car is a Porsche Taycan, It shares the exact same platform and 800-volt architecture, but it depreciates like an Audi. Owners are losing over 56% of their value in 3 years. We are talking about an $80,000 loss on a $140,000 car. The issue here is pure badge hierarchy. If a buyer has $140,000 to drop on an electric super sedan, they want the Porsche crest on the hood, not the Audi rings. The RS e-tron GT is trapped in a value valley, too expensive for normal buyers, but lacking the prestige for the ultra-wealthy. Combine that with a pitiful real-world range of under 250 miles, and this car is nothing but a wealthy person's toy. And in a high-interest rate economy, expensive toys are the first things to get liquidated. Number 8. Genesis Electrified G80. Number 8 is what happens when an automaker gets lazy. The Genesis Electrified G80. Instead of building a dedicated electric platform from scratch, Genesis just took a standard gasoline G80 chassis and violently shoehorned a massive battery pack into it. The market spotted the compliance car compromise immediately and punished them for it. Buyers look at the massive $15,000 to $20,000 price premium over the standard V6 gas model and ask, what am I actually paying for? But the real disaster is the cold weather performance. Owners in the north are reporting a catastrophic 30 to 40% range loss the second the temperature drops. When your executive luxury sedan only starts with 282 miles of range, losing 100 miles to winter weather makes the car practically unusable. EV buyers cross-shop this against the Lucid Air and Tesla Model S, see the terrible range, and walk away. It loses half its value because it's an electric car trapped in a gas car's body. Number 7. Tesla Model 3. At number 7, we have the victim of extreme corporate oversupply, the Tesla Model 3. Model 3 owners are eating nearly 58% depreciation over 3 years. This isn't because the car is mechanically bad. It is because there are simply too many of them on the road. The used market was absolutely crushed when Hertz rental cars dumped over 20,000 abused, high-mileage Model 3s onto the wholesale market. That tsunami of cheap inventory instantly dragged down the value of every private-party Tesla in America. Then, Tesla released the Highland Refresh in 2024. By adding ventilated seats, better suspension, and a vastly quieter cabin, they made the 2018 to 2023 models look like ancient history overnight. When you flood the market with rental units and instantly outdate the previous generation, massive depreciation is guaranteed. Number 6. Maserati Ghibli. Number 6 is the ultimate financial scam, the Maserati Ghibli. Maserati sells you the dream of Italian prestige. The used market sells you the reality of being a Chrysler mechanic. The Ghibli loses nearly 60% of its value, evaporating over $40,000 in 3 years. Owners love to brag that their engine was built by Ferrari, but the used market knows that means paying Ferrari maintenance costs. A basic brake job will cost you $3,000. Your tires will be bald in 10,000 miles. Annual services start at $1,500. The second-hand buyers shopping for a $30,000 used car absolutely cannot afford to keep this thing running. But what really destroys the value is the Chrysler parts bin. You are sitting in a $75,000 Italian luxury sedan, and you reach out to touch the exact same window switches, turn signals, and infotainment screen used in a $25,000 Dodge Dart. Add in the legendary electrical Gremlins, and this car is a radioactive financial liability. Number 5. Mercedes-Benz EQE 500. At number 5, we have a $90,000 computer mouse, the Mercedes-Benz EQE 500. This electric sedan loses nearly 59% of its value, shedding over $50,000 in just 3 years. Mercedes completely abandoned their traditional, stately luxury design and built a car shaped like a jelly bean. It has zero curb appeal, and traditional S-Class buyers completely rejected it. To stop the cars from rotting on the lots, Mercedes dealers pumped out massive $7,500 lease credits and heavy dealer cash, effectively leasing a $90,000 car at a $70,000 transaction price. The used market adjusted instantly. But the real mechanical nightmare is the brake pedal. Mercedes used a terrifying regenerative to friction blending software that causes the physical brake pedal to actually move on its own while you are driving. Owners describe it as disturbing and unsafe. EV buyers hate the software, traditional buyers hate the shape, and the resale value reflects it. Number 4. Alfa Romeo Giulia. Number 4 is the heartbreak of the automotive world, the Alfa Romeo Giulia. The mechanical Giorgio platform underneath this car is a brilliant masterpiece. It drives perfectly, but the electronics bolted to it are terrifyingly fragile. Giulia owners are constantly fighting parasitic battery drains, failing sensors, and electronic throttle control errors. It is a perpetual check engine light. But the ultimate value killer is the dealership network. Alfa Romeo has an incredibly tiny footprint in the United States. If you live 100 miles away from a certified Alfa dealer, you simply cannot safely own this car. That geographic restriction cuts the buyer pool down to a tiny fraction of the market. With nearly 60% depreciation, owners are losing $25,000 on a car that started in the mid-40s. Number 3. Tesla Model S. Breaking into the top 3, we have the Tesla Model S. The Model S didn't lose value because of poor quality. It lost value because Elon Musk engaged in a brutal price war to survive the EV market collapse. In early 2022, a Model S Plaid cost an insane $135,000. By late 2023, Tesla slashed the exact same car down to $89,000. When a manufacturer slashes $46,000 off the brand new sticker price, every single used owner instantly loses that exact amount of equity. Furthermore, the technological jump from Hardware 3 to Hardware 4 cameras instantly turned the 2021 and 2022 models into legacy tech, incapable of running the future full self-driving updates. Throw in the massive consumer backlash against the ridiculous yoke steering wheel, and Model S owners are suffering a catastrophic 65.6% depreciation hit. Number 2. Maserati Quattroporte. At number 2, everything wrong with the Ghibli returns, but amplified, the Maserati Quattroporte. Because this is the flagship sedan with a much higher starting MSRP, the financial losses are sickening. Owners are experiencing 66% depreciation, vaporizing over $60,000 in 3 years. You get the exact same Ferrari maintenance trap. You get the exact same cheap Stellantis Chrysler interior parts, breaking the luxury illusion. But because the car starts at over $90,000, the dollar amount losses are vastly heavier. Used car lots refuse to take them on trade. Private buyers are terrified of the repair bills, and auction values are in total freefall. It is Italian prestige on the outside and a Chrysler mechanic's nightmare on the inside. Number 1. Toyota Mirai. And finally, we reach number 1, the undisputed, single fastest depreciating vehicle in America, the Toyota Mirai. The Mirai loses an apocalyptic 77% of its value in 36 months. If you bought this car for $60,000, it is currently worth around $12,000. How did this happen to a Toyota? Total infrastructure collapse. The Mirai runs on hydrogen. In February 2024, Shell officially announced the permanent closure of its hydrogen fueling stations in California. Thousands of Mirai owners were instantly stranded. Owners report extreme fueling anxiety, driving 30 miles out of their way just to find the only pump in the county is broken or frozen solid. To make it worse, the price of hydrogen skyrocketed to over $30 per kilogram. At those prices, It costs nearly $200 to fill up the tank, yielding only 300 miles of range. That is 60 cents per mile to drive, nearly 4 times the cost of a standard gas hybrid. The Mirai is a technological marvel that completely died of thirst, and its resale value is effectively zero. The automotive market is ruthless. Do not let a shiny badge at the dealership trick you into signing a loan that will ruin your financial future. Which of these depreciation traps surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments below. If this market data helped you protect your wallet, hit that subscribe button. We pull the raw numbers every single week to keep you informed. Drive smart, and I'll see you in the next one.